Hello, this is David Everist, or the Minor Dave Everist report. Um, Anyways, I was going to do a little thing on the GSA, which is the General Service Administration. It's where when you're when you're going to appoint somebody into the government, uh, they're the ones that vet you for they have you fill out a bunch of forms, and generally they're forms about conflict of interests, any criminal convictions. Doesn't mean you can't be there. Depends on the conviction. And it depends on the job you're going into, and whether you need to be approved by the Senate. Those are different, but there's ethical questions you have to fill out, meaning conflict of interests. Any business dealings you have, and any business dealings your family have. And if you require a background search, the FBI does one, so does the Secret Service. They both do one independent of each other. And that's to see if you're going to be a security risk to the president or other government officials. And so they interview you, they interview all your family members, they interview all your neighbors, all your business associates, and even people you may have went to college or high school with. If you have seen them in recent years, if you haven't had contact with them since high school, they might not care about that. Depends on when they do it. But anyways, so Donald Trump letting the GSA give Biden funds. Those funds are available so that he can start what they call the applications to fill out for his appointees. Well, remember back in 2018, he declared the cyber infrastructure thing, and he just declared a state of emergency on the elections. So since you got Dominion and several other contractors involved on dubious ownership of the company, which could be anybody because they're owned by companies owned by a couple of different trusts. So, and they're foreign trusts, so there's really no way to find out who's in the trust because it's secret. But anyway, so if Donald Trump's got the evidence, you'd want Joe Biden thinking that he was president-elect when he's not. And you're going to get everybody to fill out a bunch of government forms. They become evidence because you can't lie on them. They're affidavits. So they have to disclose everything if they want to be in Joe Biden's administration. Well, I'd want them as defendants. In Joe Biden's confession that his team had created the biggest organization to commit fraud in the history of the world. Well, that's a confession. So these people think that Joe Biden's elected, and so they're voluntarily coming forward to serve on his, help him serve his sentence. Did anybody think about that? Well, if Donald Trump has the evidence, which I think he does, because every event I see him at, he's really relaxed. He gets angry at the press. I would too. I don't know how he does it, because I would be angry at him, and I don't know what I'd do. But I think Donald Trump, if he can prove his case, by the way, mail-in votes, Supreme Court should rule unlawful because there's no chain of custody. Only in-person votes. Now, absentee ballots can be granted, but not on a massive level. Not everybody. Well, Oregon's had vote in mail for 20 years, and, well, it's one-party rule. So if the Supreme Court says mail-in votes, no chain of custody, not legal, that throws the whole delegation, the one senator, I think 5 congressmen, right, won't be elected. That means the seats are empty. And they'll have to hold a special election for that. If the Supreme Court rules no chain of custody on mail-in votes are unlawful. Think of that. There's no chain of custody. Because, see, you vote in person, and you have to show your ID or a voter's card or something, right? And they let you vote, and you sign your name. And they check it against the book. And if it doesn't match, well, then that becomes a provisional ballot. But it would be really hard for somebody to show up to vote for you. But it's really easy to do it in a vote-in mail fraud. And by the way, this is election fraud, not mail fraud. Mail fraud is when they catch an individual stuffing ballots or doing something unlawful against the law, and that's an individual that's charged with voter fraud. But if it's done by a public trustee of an office, that makes it election fraud. And, well, the standards are higher. You get more jail time because you're in a position of being a trustee and you breached your duty. Look up breach of trust. What can happen to you? Anyway, so remember, this is about a public trust, following the rule of law, and following the Constitution. And Donald Trump proving his case that he was cheated. What he needs is the raw vote totals that Dominion sent overseas. That would be NSA recovering that. By the way, there's a joint team of clandestine services with the NSA, because the NSA is signal corps. They collect signals, computer signals, all kinds of signals, and then they decipher them, and then they send it to an analyst to determine what it all means, and then it goes up to the bigger picture, up the chain of command. Well, Donald Trump just gave special ops. They have special forces in all the other services. They're all going to be transferred to one service now, special ops, and it'll become its own equal to all the other military. That would be the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, I said the Army, the Coast Guard, Space Command, Special Operations Command, and, well, they would be involved in making sure we didn't have any foreign influence. And it looks like we did through foreign ownership of a company that's tied up in trust. And I can tell you who one person I know does that. That would be Queen Elizabeth II and her Privy Council, which could have a number of economic people on there that get to invest in defrauding us, right? Using our money to take our vote away so that Great Britain and China can take us down. Because, see, well, Queen Elizabeth really controls China. Have a good day. Oh, by the way, Lord Moloch Brown. Yeah, I think maybe special operations might make you a visit. I wish they would. And pick you up and bring you in for trial. Or at the very least, we should get your extradition and the information that you're concealing. And by the way, any SES, that would be Seniors Executive Services, are helping and aiding and abetting. Well, good luck, because you're going to Section F. Have a good day.